All right, so we're heading on into our next match here today. We've got some Temur Ramp versus Temur Underworld Breach combo here. So yeah, our players take a look at their opening hands here before we dive on into the individual overlay. Ooh, maybe. See, keep from the breach player, quick mulligan there from the ramp player. I think I like that decision on their part. This hand does not have any ramp spells in it, but I think it's probably a reasonable keep for them.
Yeah, probably fine. I mean, there's some powerful cards in there, obviously.
Tough mulligan decision there. They elected to bottom the Bonecrusher Giant, which I suppose isn't really that good interaction against the archetype they're playing against. That makes sense. Oh, and you know what? I'm actually going to flip the coverage here really quick because I think the Breach player is probably going to be making a little bit more scry decisions, stuff like that, and we can always go back and forth if we need to.
Yeah, their hand is just full of nonsense. That's a good one, though.
Yeah, we can see both players here not really doing a whole lot. The Emry off the top here is good for the Underworld Breach player. Can maybe get something going. We see them bin not only a Breach, but also a another Witching Well there. So Emry Lurker of the Loch here. A card that's going to allow them to recast those artifacts from the graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah, Emry is a really sweet design card. The casting cost might leave a little bit to be desired, but otherwise, it's really sweet.
Diligent Excavator here coming off the top as well for the Breach player. This is one of the key cards in their combo. So what you're going to want to look for, what you're going to want to look for from the Breach player. It was unfortunate they both cut out at once. What you're going to look for from the Breach player is 2 Moxes along with the Diligent Excavator. Allows them to deterministically loop through and mill themselves out.
Right. Yeah, now they have like this Emry, they have some things in their graveyard again, they have Witching Wells, they have the Mox, they got a lot of stuff going on.
They're basically just looking for their namesake card, Underworld Breach here to allow them to get their combo going. Nissa, very good for the ramp player on top. The ramp player is definitely the beatdown in this matchup. They're attempting to end the game before the Breach combo can really get set up.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right. And there's a Tamiyo. I mean, Tamiyo's a pretty big game.
Yep, Tamiyo's digging deep. Like we said, they're just looking for their Underworld Breach card at this point so they can combo. If they
have Ben, right? So.
Okay, oh yeah, and Tamiyo can pick it up out of the bin, right? So I don't think we've seen them mill another Diligent Excavator just yet. I kind of expect Tamiyo to down tick here and grab the Breach so that way she doesn't just get attacked. Oh, really? We're plussing. Okay, so they're digging for the other Diligent Excavator. That makes sense, I guess. But that's interesting. So they elected to plus naming Underworld Breach as opposed to minusing just to guaranteed pick one up. And I think they already had 2 or 3 copies of the bin. So maybe a little bit of a misstep there on their part.
Yeah, there's definitely at least 1 in there. Looks like there's 3 total in there, though.
Oh, is that? Yeah, there's 3? Yeah, that's... I think we probably should have gone all 4. Yeah. Okay, so they probably should have gone down on the Tamiyo.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
And like the questing beast here is super punishing for the mistake that Dusk made here. Like this is the ability to take this Tamiyo off the table and all those breaches are in the bin.
Yeah, that's a humongo punish.
Well, and wow. I'm not even certain that they could have comboed there so much as just having the Breach in hand means they're pretty likely to combo the following turn. And like
yeah, exactly.
Now the Tamiyo's taking 4 and they no longer have the option to pick it up. So like they're under an immense amount of pressure and they no longer have them likely dead next turn.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yep.
All right. Man, that game like literally just turned on its head because of the Underworld Breaches.
Yep. Yeah, I think our Underworld Breach player here had a chance to take this game, and they might
Round
have.
timer ended.
Well,
Sorry to everybody just heard the round timer ended over my headphones. Let me muted that so that doesn't happen again. Yeah, ramp deck looking pretty good here. Okay, second Tamiyo is a good line here. So they Tamiyo'd into Tamiyo, and now they get to pick up Underworld Breach, and the lack of Diligent Excavator here could bite them. They're gonna have a difficult time fully going off at this point. So they get to Breach. They're gonna get to Bonecrusher, stomp this Emry, but that doesn't really matter because they have a legendary. So we see their entire hand pop up here. Their entire hand pop up here. So what we're looking to do here at this point is they need to get both. If they can get 2 Diligent Excavators into play, they can really get going here. And they see them floating a mana in response here. And this is why the archetype is so powerful that we see here on the bottom, is they get to recast these excavators from the bin here, which is a big deal. So like even if you kill their combo pieces, they can recast them down the line.
yeah, this deck is really powerful. Big fan of it.
Yeah, the Breach deck is one that if I had to pick a deck that I think is like underrepresented on the ladder right now based on its power level, I think the Breach deck is one that I would pick.
Yeah, they have just so much going on right now.
Yeah, that's a good point from chat. Maybe a small misstep from the ramp player's part. We said the Breach player made a small mistake. The ramp player could have Bonecrusher to stomped the Tamiyo that was at 2, and they elected not to, and that Tamiyo then found another Tamiyo.
They're just kind of comboing through here.
There. Now again, because the Breach player has not found another Diligent Excavator, they're not deterministic yet at this point. So they need to find another Excavator, otherwise, with only one Excavator, they exile one more card to escape every time they cast a Mox, then they're milling. So they have a lot of cards in their bin at this point, so they have a little while to do that, though.
Got 2 Oracles.
Yeah, it looks like there's multiple Thassa's Oracle, which is a hedge against getting your first one exiled, right? Like, while you technically only need one to win the game, Agonizing Remorse is a very commonly played removal spell in this format. Apologies for flipping back and forth the screens. I know it's a little disorientating, but unfortunately, again, we're working with what we've got. And still, like, the Breach player, actually a little unfortunate in the fact that, like, they haven't found another Excavator, but it also looks like they're just going to be able to power through it.
Yeah, looks pretty good. This deck just does so much.
Does Temur postboard have counters to stop you go? So the deck lists are available up on the screens. Via the overlay. The Temur ramp deck postboard is going to get to bring in some Aether Gusts.
Yeah.
And gosh, their sideboard honestly is really light. We're going to see here in a second. Their sideboard is not well prepared for this matchup, I don't feel. So
Yeah,
Aether Gust is fine to bring in here. Cindervines is actually pretty okay. That's reasonable. Honestly, we might see them bring in Redcap melee here, just because taking Diligent Excavator out is worth sacrificing a land in a lot of situations, I think.
There's a couple Spell Pierce I think I saw. Yeah. Yeah, the Breach combo deck looks pretty good here. Couple Spell Pierce, couple Aether Gust. You got some good stuff going on.
We see some Aether Gust and Spell Pierce coming in from. And we can see the deck name there on the Breach player side includes Yogg's Will. and honestly, the Underworld Breach is like better than Yogg's Will would be in these decks, right? Like Yogg's Will is absurd when you get to play it with Black Lotus, but a lot of these Breach combo decks, I think Breach is actually better than that card that's restricted in Vintage.
Yeah, I'm pretty with you there. It's pretty nuts in this format for sure.
Oh, I missed it. It's a pun. Someone in chat. Yogg wills me to win. That's great. That's their deck name. Yogg wills me to win. Pretty easy mulligan here on the ramp side of the table, I think. No cheap interaction.
Good hand there for the Breach player again, though. That's a 6er, but it's pretty solid.
Ramp players on 5, but the 5 looks like it will be fairly reasonable. I wonder if we'll see them bottom the Arboreal Grazer here. It's going to be interesting to see what the ramp player wants to get rid of. Grazer's a tough card in matchups like this, in hands like this, because you're just already down cards and Grazer is card disadvantage.
Fair. Uro will buy some of that back.
That's true. Yep. The problem with the Uro is that, like, they don't have anything. If they bottom this Cavalier, they don't have any way to get cards in their bin for it. I feel like they're supposed to get rid of the Grazer here.
Yeah, it's close.
It's tough. Like, they're much faster with the Grazer, so, like, maybe you just keep this and hope Uro finds some stuff.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Got some scries going on up here. So a couple of bottoms there. Like a land and a Spell Pierce. Looking for a green source on this side of the table here for sure.
All right, well, like you mentioned, Uro's done his job. It's ramped, but like, what's next? Like, what do you have left over?
Questing Beast is actually probably the best draw in their deck, honestly. Like, it's a card that lets them put a real clock down here. Like, after maybe Green Cavalier was the absolute best draw, but Questing Beast is probably a close second.
I'm into it. It's a quick clock, and like the Breach deck doesn't really have a ton of ways to get rid of it other than gusting it, which seems pretty miserable.
Yep. So we see here Dusk bottoming their second Spell Pierce on a Scry, and I feel like that's a card that I'm kind of curious to see come in here. I feel like the utility of a card like Spell Pierce is not particularly high in this matchup.
Just more lands for the ramp deck.
And we're gonna see here again this Tamiyo just kind of go down to the Questing Beast again, right? It'll be interesting to see if the Breach player is able to get through that again here. Their graveyard is not nearly as well stocked as it was in the first game where they're able to steal a win, it felt like.
Well, Cindervines was a humongous pickup for them.
Yeah. Cindervines is just such a great one because not only does it kill Underworld Breach, but it also is going to pressure the health total of Dusk while they try to get set up to even combo in the first place.
Yep, exactly.
They need Diligent Excavator, but like they also need to not die. So I feel like we're gonna see a game 3 here pretty quickly. That Questing Beast off the top for Sunaru was very key. We see proper identification from the Breach player that Aether Gust is the card that they need, and they're fortunate to be able to hit it there if they played to their out.
It's so hard because you go to 1 here, right? From the Gust.
You take 1 from the Cindervines, right? So you're gonna go down to 5, but like the Questing Beast is just going back on top, right? Like it's not going away.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Okay. Well, now if you're the ramp player, you just pass, right? Because like,
Back.
if they tap out at any point, you kill the witching well and they die.
Blow up the well, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't blow up the well and just kill them here because they'll sack the well to scry in response. But at any point, if they don't leave mana up, you can kill the well, and then they lose the game. Yeah. And like you only have to just not die next turn because the questing beast will kill them.
Right.
And we see our top player here identifying that so long as they leave up Cindervines, they're incredibly favored to win. And we see this Hydroid Crisis for just 3 here.
Yep.
All right, and then this is lethal. We're gonna see the Cindervines get sacked in response here to kill the Witching Well, and the game's gonna go to the third one here.
Yep. Huh. Man, Questing Beast is a pounding.
I wonder if we'll see the Breach player cut these Spell Pierces that were super awkward there. I think we see Storm's Wrath coming in instantaneously there, which I think is reasonable against the Questing Beast as a deck. We're leaving the Spell Pierces in, though. Okay. I'm kind of surprised to not see Lava Coil, I think. But I guess Lava Coil's only good against exactly Questing Beast. But the ramp deck also has 4 Questing Beast post-board. Yeah, I feel like I'd want Lava Coil over... I feel like I would want Lava Coil over the... the what's it called there?
Spell Pierces. Yeah, I'm into that.
Easy mulligan there from the ramp player. Yeah, I think the 6 is super reasonable.
Yeah, it's fine.
Love Strike Beast is a super quick clock.
Yeah, both of these starts are pretty good for each player.
I don't know. The Breach hand's a little bit weak. I think it's probably in the range of keepable, but it's definitely weak. I think they have to keep almost any spell here. They have the Aether Gust as a little bit cheap interaction, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, Tamiyo's a big one. That for sure is good. Obviously, they're gonna have really no play until turn 4, other than gusting something. But
and we see the ramp player here too just doesn't have a lot going on.
Yeah, just nothing. Act for 1, play a land.
Both players not really doing much here. I honestly expect to see this Aether Gust just get snapped off on the Love Struck Beast.
Almost certainly, yeah.
And then, like, it's tough if you're Sunaru here. Like, do you top this beast? I think you do, because you could, like, make a 1/1 and replay it next turn. I think it's better than your average draw.
I think you have to, but it doesn't feel great.
You're not excited about it, right? Well, something that's a little bit awkward here on the Storm's Wrath that we might see happen is this hits Planeswalkers, too, which can sometimes be awkward alongside your own Tamiyo if they decide they need to sweep the board.
Well, I mean, I think you, like, have to fire the Storm's Wrath off here as well. Like, you can't...
Nope, yep, 10 out of 10. Big agree. Unless they draw something really good off the top here, I think you're pretty committed to, like, making the Love Struck Beast not attack. Something that's worth noting here, too, is that this Love Struck Beast is out of the sideboard of this ramp deck. So Sunaru here identifying that they're the beatdown of this matchup and boarding in that Love Struck Beast to try and really apply a quick clock here.
Yep. Breaking again here.
Yep, and like we expected, the Storm's Wrath comes in here, but, you know, we've got this Domri's Ambush here, which is going to kill this Tamiyo, even though the Love Struck Beast can't attack.
Yeah, Ambush is really great here, and there's not really a better time.
Yeah, you can't leave the Tamiyo unchecked here. Worth noting that we're going to see Witching Well's activated ability really come into play here, though. Like, the Breach player is on empty, but they've got to draw 2 sitting in play. So I assume we'll see that crack here.
This one is a staring match so far.
Yep.
Yeah, Witching Well's a really powerful card. It seems like kind of innocuous, but it's definitely powerful.
And again, going back to role assessment here, I feel like the current board state definitely favors the Breach deck. Like, neither player having anything go on, the Breach deck can just, like, all of a sudden kind of win out of nowhere. Whereas, like, the Ramp deck needs to generate a little bit more over time.
I was going to ask how you feel about a Thassa's Oracle here for some value.
I like it. Wait, did we see a misclick? Oh no, we're still looking. So they're assessing, is their graveyard good enough to breach? We might see them take the breach and see like a value breach here. Like sometimes in this archetype you like breach just to like flash back your Tamiyo to get your engine going.
Yeah, I totally missed that they have a Mox Amber in hand as well too. So they have some tools. Jeez. Really rough there for the ramp deck so far.
And I mean, like, and this is the risk when your deck is, you know, has a lot of mana sources in it. Sometimes you're just going to draw a lot of mana sources. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're pretty committed to just like getting your Aether Gust in here. Like they're going to top it and do it again next turn, but it's like you don't have a better thing to do with your mana.
Exactly.
What's our best draw here? Like Hydrate Graces? Cavalier's pretty good. If Cavalier finds an Uro, that could be the velocity that the ramp player needs to get back in this game. Get some agile synergy going on here.
Yeah.
Big miss there. I don't know that this Cavalier is enough on its own. I think without an Uro here, it's going to come up a little bit short. All right, we've got some cards.
Yeah.
We could just combo here, huh?
I think they're gonna go for it. I mean, I think they have enough stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. They only have 8 cards in their bin. They only have 1 Excavator, which is a big deal. But the fact that they have a Mox in their hand already gives them 2 more mills, which is a big deal. And Emry is a card that's going to let them... Now, one thing that might bite them here, if you notice, like this... Don't do it. Don't do it. They're out of blue mana. If they cast this card, they don't have blue mana to cast Emry. So the fact that they tapped for their Underworld Breach the way they did is going to restrict what spells they can cast out of the bin here. So if they had paid a little bit closer attention, they would have wanted to cast this Underworld Breach off of their green-red duels. Maybe being a little bit careless with the auto tapper here are going to get them. There's the second Diligent Excavator, and now the Mox taps for blue because they cast Emry, and I believe that drags them across the finish line here. So double Excavator, double Mox is deterministic.
Yeah.
So long as the Breach player has their second Thassa's Oracle in their deck still, this game is over. We saw a second Thassa's Oracle in game 1, so I assume they still have it post-board. I don't recall exactly how they board it, though.
Yeah, I didn't see them board it out, but they could have, but I don't think they would have. It's a cool deck.
Yeah, and there's a lot of opponent identifying there that, you know, they're deterministic. They saw the two oracles, and they're going to go ahead and pack it in there.
Cool.
I think that's a hard matchup for the ramp deck, regardless of how you shake it. They're not super interactive and they're not super fast, so I think they're going to really struggle against a linear combo deck like the Breach deck.
Yeah, I agree. We saw like one of their quicker starts was they had the accelerated questing beast, but I mean even still, like they were just a couple of turns away from dying, and it definitely was tough.
Yep. All right. Unfortunately, it looks like our other feature matches are done already. Fortunately, got to just kind of pick them blind. Hopefully, at some point in the future, when Wizards of the Coast gives us an official spectator mode, we'll be able to dip into any match still going on. But how we're working the coverage today is we are picking 3 feature matches at the start of each round, kind of like they do in a traditional paper tournament, and just kind of hoping that one of them is still going if we have a faster round. We're going to hang out and chat in between here. I'm going to hit an ad roll really quick so I meet my quota for the day, but don't go anywhere. We've still got a bunch more matches coming up here today. Ton of players duking it out to be the first winner of the Hoaglandia Open here. If you miss any of the coverage, it'll all be up on YouTube late tonight or tomorrow as well, round by round with all the downtime cut out.